Hello and welcome to your channel Map History. And today we're going to explore the geography of the United States. The United States is not just the home of tall skyscrapers and Hollywood. It's like a mini continent with all kinds of landscapes, dry deserts, high mountains, huge forests, and nearly 60,000 miles of coastline. But how do these landscapes and physical features help us understand the rise of the USA? Welcome to my channel, where we make geography fun and engaging for curious minds like yours. Remember to subscribe for more adventures. Let's dive into the geography of the United States. First, let's talk about size. The US is the third largest country in the world, covering around 9.8 million kilometers squared. That's bigger than Europe and almost as large as China. But it's not just one flat plain. The US has 50 states, and each state has its own unique geography. To keep things simple, let's divide the US into 5 main parts: the coasts, mountains, plains, deserts, and rivers. Let's start with the coasts. The United States has 3 important coasts. On the east, there's the Atlantic coast, on the west, there's the Pacific coast, and in between, you have the Gulf Coast. Each coast has its own personality and has played a big part in the country's history. The East Coast has many large cities like New York, Boston, and Washington, D.C. These cities grew quickly because of their easy access to the Atlantic Ocean and the chance to trade with Europe. On the West Coast, you have cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Seattle. They grew because of trade with Asia across the Pacific. Also, being close to the ocean helped them become big ports. And then there's the Gulf Coast. It's where the Mississippi River meets the sea. Cities like Houston and New Orleans became important because of this river and the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. This area is also known for its connection to the ocean and fishing industries and energy and oil. Next, let's look at the mountains. The Rocky Mountains, sometimes called the Rockies, stretch from British Columbia in Canada all the way down to New Mexico in the US. These mountains are massive, with some peaks reaching over 4,000 meters. Over millions of years, these mountains were formed due to the meeting of tectonic plates, creating not only beautiful scenery, but also challenges for those who settled in the region. For early explorers and settlers traveling through or near these mountains, they were a major barrier. People generally prefer to settle in areas that are easy to travel through. The Rocky Mountains slowed down early settlement in the West, and most people stayed on the East Coast until the 19th century, when exploring and conquering the West became more possible. The other main mountain range is the Appalachian Mountains. They're found on the East Coast and are much older than the Rockies. They're also a lot smaller. These mountains were once tall, but over millions of years, wind, rain, and ice erosion have worn them down. These mountains were really important in the early days of the United States. Since they stretched along the eastern border of the colonies, they acted as a sort of barrier, keeping most Europeans away from the settlements. This isolation helped the colonies grow and develop, without interference from other countries. But it also meant that people had limited knowledge of the world outside their settlements. However, by the 19th century, as the United States expanded, these mountains no longer provided a significant barrier. Now let's talk about the Great Plains. The Great Plains is a broad, flat area of land stretching from Canada down to Mexico. It's like a giant grassy field as far as the eye can see. It's also called America's breadbasket, because for hundreds of years it has been one of the most important farming regions in the world. The soil here is rich and deep, and there is plenty of water from rivers like the Missouri and Mississippi. Farmers grow lots of crops like corn, soybeans, wheat, cotton, and potatoes. Ranchers raise cattle and other livestock. The Great Plains changed the course of American history. When Europeans arrived, they found this land with its grasslands and rivers perfect for raising animals and growing crops. As the population grew, so did the need for food. The Great Plains had enough space and resources to support a large number of farms and ranches. This abundance of food helped fuel the growth of cities and towns and powered the expansion of the United States. In the southwest part of the country, you have 2 big deserts, the Mojave Desert and the Sonoran Desert. These deserts are hot with very little rainfall, making life tough for plants and animals. But even in the desert, there's a lot of life if you know where to look. You'll find all kinds of interesting cacti, lizards, and even coyotes. What makes these deserts special is that even though they're super hot during the day, they're really cool at night. Sometimes the temperature drops a lot, making a nice change from the heat. These deserts became famous because of landmarks like Death Valley, the Grand Canyon, and Monument Valley. Many people come to visit these places. Now let's explore the rivers and lakes. The Mississippi River is America's biggest river. It's about 3,700 kilometers long and travels from north to south through the heart of the country. This river has been super important for the United States since colonial times. People used it to move goods and farm products from one place to another. The Mississippi River connected the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, helping to build cities and grow trade. Imagine trying to move things around without roads or trains. The river was the main way to go. There are also the Great Lakes. They're a group of 5 big lakes in the upper part of the United States and Canada. These lakes hold more fresh water than any other place on Earth. For a long time, this water was used to run factories and produce things like steel, cars, and food. Cities like Chicago and Detroit became busy because of the power from the lakes. And let's not forget about the Colorado River. It starts in Colorado and travels through 7 states before emptying into the Gulf of California. This river is special because it created the Grand Canyon, a big and beautiful gorge that's a popular place for tourists. The Colorado River is also used for water and electricity. And finally, let's talk about how geography has shaped the history of the United States. When European explorers and settlers first came to the United States, they started mostly on the East Coast. This was because the East Coast had easy access to Europe and the ocean. It was easier to get to and trade with Europe from here. Also, the mountains in the east protected them from attacks by other countries. But as time went on, people started exploring and settling in other parts of the United States. The discovery of gold in California led to a rush of people moving west. This, plus the fact that farming was good in the Great Plains and resources were abundant in the mountains, encouraged people to venture further. The presence of rivers like the Mississippi and Missouri helped connect the east and west parts of the country. When railroads were built across the land, it made it even easier and faster to travel and transport goods. This helped turn the United States into one of the most powerful countries in the world. Its size, variety of resources, and connected waterways allowed for the growth of cities, trade, and industry. So, looking at the map of the United States and its geography, we can see that it has everything from coastlines and forests to deserts and mountains. This variety of geography has been one of the keys to the country's strength. Each area has its own beauty and resources, contributing to the rich history and development of the nation. Now let's think about something interesting. Just like the United States, every country has its own geography and physical features. How do you think the geography of the country you live in has influenced its history and development? Has it shaped your country's story in a big way? Let us know in the comments below. We've explored the geography of the United States, a country with a diverse landscape that has shaped its history and development. From the bustling cities of the East Coast to the vast agricultural lands of the Great Plains and the majestic mountains of the Rockies, each region has contributed to the country's unique character. Understanding the geography of a place helps us appreciate how it has influenced the people, culture, and events that have shaped our world. As you continue to learn about geography, remember to explore, be curious, and appreciate the incredible diversity of our planet. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep discovering. Until next time, happy geographying.